Well, hi guys, good afternoon or good morning. I'm going to show you guys how to get into the phase changes unit on Amplify. So if we go on to Amplify, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just so you can see it a little bit better. Well, that's about as good as we're going to get. So we're going to go to phase changes. And you should have already done lesson 1.1, which is the pre-assessment. You're going to jump into 1.2. I'm going to click 1.2, okay? And we're going to look specifically at the warm-up. So if you open up the warm-up, the warm up asks you about these three cups below. It says there's each contains water. What do you think is the difference about the water in each cup? Describe as many differences as you can in the space below. You can pause the video now to answer your warm up question. Okay, so I hopped over to our PowerPoint slides to help kind of talk us through the rest of this lesson or part of this lesson. So in activity 2, we're going to be looking at discussing the differences in appearance. And our unit question for the entire unit that we're doing is how can the appearance of a substance change without it becoming a different substance? So we know that the Earth is the only place in the universe where we've actually found evidence of three phases. We have liquid water, we also have solid water in the form of ice, and we have water vapor in the air as a gas. However, NASA actually recently found evidence that Titan, one of Saturn's moons, has lakes and seas on its surface. We're going to watch a video to learn a little bit more about that. Before we do, in that video, there's going to be two real life scientists investigating the lake on Titan. I'll tell you who those two scientists are and what they are in just a moment. But as you watch, listen for answers to each of these questions. What questions about Titan are Dr. Mike Malaska and Dr. Alex Hayes trying to answer through their research, and what evidence are they using to answer these questions? Now, Dr. Alex Hayes is actually a planetary geologist, and Dr. Mike Malaska is a chemist. If you hop over to Canvas, which I'm going to do, I've actually posted the video here. It's called Studying a Distant Moon. And remember, we're in lesson 1.2. So if you scroll down, it'll be right here. You can also access this on Amplify. If you were to go to Amplify and click on the lesson brief in the top corner here, scroll down a little bit, you will see the videos on the right hand side. They could actually be across the top, but this one is called Studying a Distant Moon. So you can watch it here as well. So we're going to go back to your slides, and now you can pause and watch the video and then come right back here and we'll discuss the rest of the lesson. Okay, so what questions about Titan are the scientists trying to answer? What evidence are they using to answer these questions? Well, maybe you said something about the methane and how it changes phases on the surface. And Dr. Hayes is actually using the satellite images taken by the satellite to determine what's happening to those disappearing lakes. So in this unit, we're actually going to focus on one particularly mysterious lake made primarily of methane gas. And we know this one's found on Titan, and it's going to be the subject of our research. So we're going to look at this letter. This is actually on your lesson. And if you go into Amplify, you'll see this letter. Actually, I apologize. I have this letter. You don't have it on Amplify. So we'll read this to two student chemists from the lead chemist, Dr. Flores, at the Universal Space Agency. And the subject is the missing lake on Titan. So, dear student chemists, scientists at the Universal Space Agency are investigating what happened to one of the methane lakes on Titan. The following slides depict the same location at two different slides. As you will see, the location looks very different in the two pictures. As student chemists, we ask for you to help to determine what is happening to the missing lake. So this agency is asking us to help us figure this out and help them out with it. So here's our two pictures. In 2007 to 7 here, scientists note that there are dark areas in the photo from this NASA probe picture that was taken in 2007. The area is outlined in blue in this picture. Well, in 2019, 2 years not 19, 2009, 2 years later, the area outlined in blue is much lighter. What happened to the lake? So we're going to look at our specific chapter 1 question. That is it. What happened to the liquid in Titan's lake? So this is our chapter 1 question, and we're going to investigate it a little bit further. So we know that scientists know that the lake was there in 2007 because there was a different color than the surrounding area in that picture that we just looked at from above. What do you think happened to the lake? Share that with your neighbor or your partners and see what you guys come up with. You can pause the video here. So, freezing and evaporation claims. Here's the two claims we have, that the lake either froze or it evaporated. So, either the lake froze or it evaporated, and we're going to try to see if these two claims are valid. In this unit, you're going to use your understanding of chemistry to help you to explain what happened to that lake on Titan. And as we read in the message, the two claims for what happened to the lake are both examples of phase changes, which is what our unit is about. The methane in the lake either evaporated or it froze. So this question is going to help us figure out if the methane lake on Titan froze or evaporated. How does the appearance of a substance change when it changes phase? So this is what we're going to investigate now. We cannot directly study those phase changes on Titan. Instead, we're going to study the videos of phase changes on Earth to help us see what is happening on Titan. So we're going to watch several videos or several examples of phase changes on Earth to better understand how the appearance of the substances change when phase change. And I'm going to play those videos here. If you need to rewatch them, feel free to, but I'm going to go ahead and show you those phase change videos. So make sure you notice what's happening on the cup here. Okay, here's the next one. Make sure you notice what's happening here. Okay, here's our next video. Now make sure as you're watching these videos, you're thinking about phase changes. What's really happening here? So describe what happened in each of those videos. What is the change? Okay, so we've got a new vocabulary word, phase. It's a noticeably different form or state of the same substance. Okay, and you also have a glossary that you can look for on Amplify. If you look on, again, that lesson brief page and scroll down, it is on the bottom of this phase change glossary. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you will see it at the very bottom. So you can look up those words as you go. So let's think about how matter can change form from one phase to the other. Okay, so we've got solid. Now remember, solid, if you see a solid change, it turns to a liquid. Now remember, what makes it change from a solid to a liquid? And then what makes it change from a liquid to a gas? Okay, so remember that you also have melting, freezing, evaporating, and condensing. So when we go from a solid to a liquid, we're melting and becoming a liquid. We are evaporating when we go to a gas. When we come from a gas to a liquid, we are condensing. And when we go from a liquid to a solid, we are freezing. Okay, and that's what these slides go over, just to give you a visual. Okay, so in partners, you're going to choose one of the videos and try to describe more precisely how that substance changes in that video. So if you look on activity 2, it's going to step you through that process and you are going to describe what happened in the phase changes and answer the questions below. You can pause the video now to do that part of the lesson. Okay, so at this point, you should be able to answer the investigation question. How does the appearance of a substance change when phase changes? Remember, we have a couple of key concepts. A solid holds its shape and does not take the shape of its container. We also have found that a gas has no visible shape and it fills its container. And we know that a liquid flows and can take the shape of its container. So the next thing that we're going to do is section 3. What you're going to do is you're going to be reading the Titan fact sheet. You're going to read and annotate a short article about Titan. So you should have articles that you're going to read it out of in a packet that your teacher has given you. So you can use the Amplify library to help you as well to be able to find words or underline things. But we're actually going to do it in the packet instead. So we're going to go to the Titan fact sheet and we are going to read that assignment. You can pause here to go ahead and read that assignment and annotate it. Make sure you put notes, underline important things that may help us answer that question that we had of, and I'm looking back for it so I can bring it up, what happened to the liquid lake or the liquid in Titan's lake? So we want to try to answer that question. And the last thing that you can work on is this is a should do. You have two should do's that you can do. So your homework assignment number 4 and your homework assignment number 5 are your should do's for today.